Today we have with us Mr. Kavinder Singh, MD and CEO at Mahindra Holidays and Resorts. Good morning, sir. My first question to you is that revenues have gone up by 25% this quarter. How much of that would you contribute to vacation ownership income, and how much of it would you contribute to resort income?
So, I think what you're reading is the consolidated numbers. Yes. I think the best way to read our numbers is to look at standalone, and I will talk about our material subsidiary, which is Holiday Club Resorts, which is based at Finland in a few moments. If you look at the standalone results, our income is up by about 9%. And as far as resort income is concerned, it's up by about 8%. And as far as our vacation ownership income is concerned, it is up by 9%. And if we were to look at our annual fee income, that's up by about 14%. So all around 9.3% income growth that we saw. And if you were to look at the EBITDA growth, it is about 18%. And if you were to look at our profit before tax margin, it's up by 190 basis points. And if you were to look at, obviously, our profit after tax, there is a benefit that we get both from margin expansion as well as the income growth. So we have our profit after tax growing by about 32%. Now, these are the standalone numbers. If you were to move into the Holiday Club Resorts, which is a material subsidiary whose numbers are consolidated, at a consolidated level, as you rightly said, our turnover has gone up by 25%. And if you were to look at the Holiday Club performance, they have improved their sales turnover by 20%. So they have turned around. They have given a very good quarter. Their occupancies are also up from 51 to 62%. If I were to talk about my Mahindra Holidays occupancies, we are at about 91%, which is the best ever improvement in the occupancies that we have seen. We normally hover around 89%. This time we have seen 91%. As you know, April, May, June is a holiday season. So we have been benefited by that, and our occupancies at 91% are the best ever. So at an overall level, there is a growth in our income by 9%. As far as the sales turnover is concerned of Holiday Club, they have grown by 20%. If you were to look at the profit after tax at a standalone level, we have grown by about 32%. And most importantly, our cash position has improved significantly from 572 crores. We are now at 655 crores in 3 months. So March 31, we were at 572. And now at June 30th, we are at 655 crores.
Correct, sir. Now, like you mentioned, occupancies this time has been as high as 91%. How do you see this number changing going forward? And will you be able to sustain this number, basically?
So, as I mentioned to you, that our average occupancies for the full year are between 83 and 85%. This quarter is always a heavier quarter on occupancies. It's about 89%. This year, it's gone up to 91%. So there is an improvement in occupancies, and different quarters have different occupancies. So we do see us doing better than the average occupancy that we delivered last year at 83%.
Okay, sir. So 6 new resorts were added in the last 1 year. Could you throw some light on which of these resorts have performed well and which of them have not performed very well?
So in our business, what happens is that we sell memberships to prospects. And the proposition that we have is that when you sign up for a membership, you will be able to holiday at any of the resorts that we have today and in future. So we used to have 1 year before 55 resorts. Now we have 61 resorts. And the resorts that we have added is in the eastern area. We have Darjeeling, Kalimpong, and Namchi. We have added also resorts in Hampi, Diu. So when you see these resorts and the fact that these resorts have been added in India, 5 resorts were added, and we also added 1 resort internationally in Sri Lanka. So that's how the 6 destinations came in. Our objective is to give experience to our members beyond what we have as 55 resorts. That's why we keep adding, and every year you will see resorts additions. The experience in these resorts has been very good. Occupancies have turned out to be great. As I mentioned to you, despite the resort additions, despite the inventory addition, as we call room inventory addition, our occupancy moved up from 89% to 91%.
Okay, sir. Can you explain the impact of the IND accounting standard 116 on the EBITDA number?
Okay, the EBITDA number, as you can see, there is a growth of 63%, and when I was referring to you on pre-116 levels, we had grown by 18%. The improvement in EBITDA is clearly as a result of the lease rentals going down and the depreciation going up, which is below the EBITDA level, and that is why if you were to look at the profit level, there is no impact of 116. So it's only a restatement of the cost. So the lease rentals have come down, the depreciation has gone up. In simple terms, the concept of 116 is that if you have leases, and since you have a right of use and you have a long lease, you must state it as an asset, and therefore there has to be a corresponding liability, which is in terms of payment of rent. So this is a balance sheet entry, which is the right of use asset that gets created, and there is a liability that gets created. But as far as the P&L is concerned, what it does is it moves the lines. The depreciation has gone up, the lease rentals have come down. Therefore, if you were to look at the profit number, that has not changed as a result of 116. So the good news for us is that the business remains the same. The cash position as well as the unit economics remains the same, and the 116 only restates the lease rentals and depreciation. So you will see an improvement in EBITDA to 63%, but we are internally quite aware that the EBITDA performance improvement, it is reasonably significant, and the growth has been of the order of 18%.